The views, information, or opinions expressed during the Blue Line podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not represent those of the agencies that we serve and its employees. Listener discretion is advised.
Eastbound on 13. 1422. Southbound on Clay. Southbound on Clay. Male white, all black, black shorts, white hat. Stop running. Stop running. I'm going to tell you. Stop running. Don't jump over the wall. Stop. Do not move. We got him down. We got him down. Taser. Send the boss for taser.
That's right, folks. It's time for the Blue Line Podcast. Broadcasting live coast to coast from the Hybrid Armory Studios. Giving you the facts and setting America straight with what it's really like behind the badge. Please welcome your friends and mine, the Blue Line Podcast.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is Chris from the Blue Line Podcast.
And Devin from the Blue Line Podcast.
It's like we have like two different shows.
Yeah.
Like, this is Chris and Devin, both from two different podcasts, ironically named the Blue Line.
Coming together as one.
Coming together as one. That's right. That's right. What's going on, everybody? This is episode number 2 of the podcast here. We're very excited. Talk about all sorts of wonderful, amazing things this day. Topics for tonight's story. We'll be talking about a high school band depicts execution of SWAT officers, which is the week after 2 officers were actually killed in the line of duty. That's just, this story is just boils my blood. That's all. Investigation determines it was the protesters' own fault for getting hit by a cop car. This is a pretty funny story. Serious topic here, we really want to touch base on this, is law enforcement suicides outnumber line of duty deaths. And as we've all seen in the news recently, unfortunately, we have plenty of law enforcement officers and correctional officers that have been killed, but the suicide rate is just astronomical. It's really, really high. But we'll talk more on that. Things not to do while on duty. Police officers under investigation for taking pictures of a woman's butt. Yeah, that's pretty funny. And, of course, the shootout safety tip of the month. Always carry a round chambered in your firearm. And we have a story as to why you always want to keep that chambered. Ending the show tonight, we'll be talking about the 14 reasons, which we've already talked a few on the last episode. So we're just narrowing those bad boys down as to why you'll be fired from your job as a correctional officer. What not to do in a jail or prison. You don't want to do that. It's not good. Not at all.
All right, so let's touch on a little topic here. You just had a birthday, old man.
I did. I'm 35. I feel like I'm 50 most days when I wake up. So when you get to my age next year,
I hate you. Give me a break, man. I got a ways to go. You
old bastard. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. You're fantastic. Yeah, it was great. We went to Milwaukee. We were going to go see Blue October and saw this really awesome band called Long Wave. They had some pretty tasty jams. And the old lady surprised me with a hotel of Milwaukee. So that was a fun time for my birthday. We went out to dinner. And I found out, it came to the conclusion to me that I'm getting old. You want to know why?
Oh, you're just now figuring that out?
Well, yeah. So we went to two different places. We went to a bar and like a pub, and then another. Where did we go? Applebee's? Yeah. Anyway, we didn't get carded, like either place. And I'm sitting here, and there's people next to me, and she's like, "I need your ID." But for me, I'm like, "Yeah, let me get, whatever." And she just gives it to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
That's the conclusion, But no, you go to Walmart and you get a case of beer, and the lady's like, "I need to see your ID."
Bro, I still get carded for NyQuil all the time. Like, I'm like dying sick at the counter trying to buy medicine. And they're like, can we see your ID? Ma'am, I am definitely over the age of 18. Ma'am, we still need to see your ID. Okay, that's fine. I'm also going to go get a case of beer while I'm at it.
Right.
Because I need to get through this moment.
And here's my sheriff's badge, asshole.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm definitely over 18. Okay, thanks. God, yeah. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm getting old. I'm not getting carded anymore, except again for Walmart, And this is Granny Goodcook that's like, I need to see your ID. And I'm like, bitch, I'm 5 years away from being 40, okay?
Give me a break here.
I'm like your grandson's age, all right? So just relax, okay? I'm trying to get my natty ice on, all right?
One more thing on that. The worst is when the cashier is a girl you went to high school with who very well knows you're the same age as her. And she's still like, ma'am, can I see your ID? Susan, I went to high school with you.
We were in 7 out of 8 classes together.
We graduated together. Why? Oh, okay, here's my ID. Also, do you just take my ID? Have a nice day. Have a nice day, ma'am. Yeah, okay, Susan.
Why do you smell like whiskey, Susan?
Seriously.
Is that a heroin in your pocket?
But it worked. Whatever. Do what you do. Do your job. I commend you.
Speaking of heroin, I heard you had an interview.
Nice.
That's got nothing to do with heroin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I definitely didn't bring heroin on that interview. But yes, I had an interview for a department that I've been seeking employment for as a deputy. Moving forward in the process, it's been a long journey, continuing to be a long journey. But I'm hoping to land that position in the next year or so. But fingers crossed. I have an amazing job now, so worst comes to worst, I continue working within the jail, but I'm hoping to move forward with my career and be a part of the law enforcement community even more.
I hope so. I really do. I think you will do fantastic as a copper out there working the roads.
Hopefully.
Working for the county sanitation department, cleaning mean streets.
Yeah. I'll be scraping up dead bodies of raccoons my first year.
Scraping up mopes.
All right.
So let's jump right on in here. This was a pretty popular story amongst law enforcement, Facebook groups and whatnot. And I mean, it did hit national news on some outlets. But talking about the high school band here that did the execution of SWAT officers. I mean, it pissed me off when I seen the video of this. And the fact that 2 heroes were killed, and it's literally a week after this happening, and these assholes at this high school just decide to let's be anti-cop because that's the now everybody's against law enforcement officers. Because I tell you what, when I was a kid, I would never even think twice about flipping a cop off, tell him to go F himself or anything along those lines. And I mean, it's just, you get all these snowflake people now. They're just like, fuck you, give me your badge number, suck my dick. I mean, it's like just disgusting behavior. The
lack of respect within the youth, the juveniles these days is disturbing. And to think that we're going to bring up our children in a world like this, being that we are in law enforcement, we have to teach them to respect officers when everyone else around them is not doing so.
No.
So it's heartbreaking to hear that people expect law enforcement to protect them and to serve them. However, there's no give. It's all take. And when we do end up being there to protect them, all we get is just shame and disrespect. And it's a really thankless job. And so to be a part of law enforcement takes a lot of not only courage on the street, but courage to be the one to step forward and do what's right. So Chris is going to tell us a little bit about what happened with this band and explain how horrific this scene was for you.
Yeah. So the Forest Hill High School band, they depicted the execution of cops just a week after 2 Brookhaven officers were killed. The halftime performance for a game between Forest High School and Brookhaven High School has sparked outrage after the students depicted the execution of police officers. The Forest Hill High School band members showed students dressed as doctors and nurses using fake rifles to depict the execution of students dressed as police officers. The performance comes just 1 week after 2 Brookhaven officers were murdered in the line of duty. The performance caught the attention of Governor Phil Bryant, who tweeted, "This is unacceptable in a civilized society, and someone should be held accountable." WLBT reports that Brookhaven Mayor Joe Cox spoke to the mayor of Jackson, who responded that the Forest Hill band director has been suspended, and the mayor also apologized for the halftime show. Jackson Public Schools has not responded to the request for their comment.
This is absolutely bullshit. Like,
yeah.
They should be fired.
Yeah, not just suspended. Fired.
The discipline that people get these days is a slap on the hand for things like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, my mom would beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she would be like, "What were you thinking?"
Yeah. Done.
I would be punished I have people in law enforcement, I have family and people in the military. To disrespect that and be a part of that and to not stand up for what I believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids should know better. They're high school students. So.
But that's where it comes back to the parents. It's not, just even the kids. It's the parents that are not parenting their kids. They're not whooping their kids' ass for disrespecting. They just let them do what they want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the generation that we're in, unfortunately. You and I are one of the last generations of the hardworking, old school style Americans.
Right.
And not saying that, our children are going to grow up that way because, us, having kids, within our age, it's, everybody's teaching our kids how to do it, but it's that generation gap that's just blows my mind.
Right. Well, the national spokesman, Randy Sutton, did weigh in on this. So a quote from him is, "What in the name of God is going on in this city? The band leader allegedly creates the themes for the band performances, and whoever this is clearly lacks any sense of morality or empathy, and the fact that he or she is leading these high school students is unfathomable. It is just as disturbing that none of these students refused to participate and that their parents, who must have known, did or said anything to stop this madness. Besides that, whoever was responsible needs to be fired. The mere fact that this took place was even dreamed up in the first place reveals the lack of humanity and empathy that many people have demonstrated towards the families and loved ones of 2 men who sacrificed their lives for these very same cretins who are pictured here," he said. Disgusting. So
very disgusting.
He literally just summed it up.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to see this. So, I'm sorry, but your children suck. Oh, man. Good luck. Those are the type of human beings who will be running our country one day.
Or in our local jails.
Yes.
And prison systems.
See you in jail, man. See you in jail.
I'm going to go with option B on that. They'll probably wind up in jail, especially if they want to depict carrying guns and all that. I'm just saying they might be gangbangers or, whatever the case is. And, just like anybody, and I'm just totally going off track here. What's always funny is when you see, like, you're watching Live PD or you're watching Cops or whatever you see on Facebook, and the guy's, like, running from the cops. They're running, and you got K-9 after them, and you got 30 guys in blue chasing their ass. Like, dude, you're not going to win. That's the thing. Even just like in the jail, if we got to suit up and, CERT is activated, or we respond to a fight, or an officer is getting attacked, or whatever the case is, you will not win. We always win. We will always win. And sometimes if one of our guys gets hurt or worse off killed, that's a low blow for us. We got to deal with it, but we will always win.
Well, the difference is we're going in for protection. We're going in to protect those citizens and each other, and criminals are in for themselves. So there's a difference there. So
protesting